Thank you for tuning in to Tideland News in association with the Carteret News-Times. On Tuesday, November 4th, was Election Day in Swansboro. Mayoral positions were up for re-election, in addition to 3 seats on the Swansboro Board of Commissioners. On the ballot for the position of town mayor was incumbent Swansboro Mayor William Justice. On the ballot for the Board of Commissioners were 5 candidates made up of incumbents Pat Turner, Jeffrey Conway, and Joe Brown, in addition to newcomers Tim Vinoy and Wayne Herbert. Based on Election Day results hosted at the Swansboro Rotary Center, the newcomers Tim Vinoy and Wayne Herbert were elected to the Swansboro Board of Commissioners, taking 2 of the 3 seats up for grabs. Incumbent Jeff Conway was re-elected and secured the 3rd available seat for the Board of Commissioners. Wayne Herbert acquired most of the votes with 471 in total, followed closely by Vinoy with 455. Conway received 375 votes. The 2 other incumbent commissioners, Pat Turner and Joe Brown, had 245 votes and 141 votes, respectively. Yet to be tallied are absentee ballots, early voting ballots, and Shadow Creek ballots, but a change of order in the finish seems unlikely at this time. Bill Justice ran unopposed in his bid for re-election as mayor, ultimately receiving 482 votes. Now let's hear from the newly elected candidates after they wrap up at the voting station. Tim, this is fantastic. You just won. You're commissioner. First thoughts, just right now.
I'm blown away with the amount of people that showed up for an off-year election, and with the number that people have invested in me. I'm speechless right now.
You've been standing out in the cold all day with your fellow candidates. You've been wanting this position for quite some time. You've been fighting for it, going house to house with Wayne Herbert, saying, hey, this is me, this is what we're trying to do, and these are the things we can do for you if you give us your vote and that confidence. Can you kind of speak to us a little bit about just this journey that you've been on to get to this point?
Well, this all started really back in January when we see things with the town were not going the direction the town wanted it to go. And up until about 4 months ago, made a decision to really dive in. Obviously I'm part of the planning board, and just saw things that were not going right, and got with Wayne Herbert and myself, and we said, hey, we need to jump in this and try to get the town back to where we think it needs to go. And over the past several months, we've walked just about every neighborhood here in Swansboro, listened to the people and getting an understanding of what they're looking for. And the way they want to push forward is exactly how Wayne and I want to go.
That's fantastic. This is great. You just got done. Day one. Can you talk to me about day one? What you want to do as soon as you sit down in the chair and say, all right, let's get to business?
Well, obviously, put out thanks to people that was able to get us here. But I want to sit down and find out what things are open that need to be closed, first of all. And make sure that we got the understanding of what's out there that obviously we're not always in the know of, and to see where we need to go. But we ran on some promises to the town, and from day one, whether if it's infrastructure, schools, our police and fire department, we want to jump on that and see where we need to go and see what doors we need to hit to knock on, and we want to get some relationships back a little better with our Onslow and state representatives, and that's our intention.
All right, fantastic. Congrats again. This is going to be good. We're looking forward to it. So
I appreciate it.
Mr. Herbert, you guys just got done here. It's been a long road to get to this point, and it all ended here out in the cold, standing here all day, watching voters come in, hoping that they instill in you guys the confidence. Can you just walk me through how you're feeling right now?
Ecstatic. Obviously, to see the individuals who were successful this evening, and I can't wait for the opportunity to work for them and the people of Swansboro. It's been a long road to get here. Tim Benoit and I, as the new candidates, and not new to Swansboro. Literally, we walked every subdivision in Swansboro. We met so many people. It was so humbling and refreshing. The comments, the input that we got from people, and what they want Swansboro to look like over the next 4 years and beyond. And it was so consistent from neighborhood to neighborhood. And that's whether you lived here your whole life, 30 years, 3 years, or 3 months, or 30 days even. We met a gentleman, I remember in River Reach West, who had just moved here, and he told us why he moved here. And it was why the rest of us continue to live here. And that consistent message was keeping Swansboro, Swansboro, the place we love. And it was a powerful message from all the people we talked to.
Yeah. Well, moving forward, I asked him the same thing. Day one, what does that look like for you?
Getting our hands around where we are with the agenda. I mean, the current Board of Commissioners has been actively pursuing some initiatives with the public safety building, among some other things, and understanding where we are with those things and making sure we're being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. I've said it numerous times, we need to run our town checkbook like we run our home checkbook, not run up excessive debt. Be good stewards of again, the taxpayers' dollars. And so getting a good feel for where we are with those projects. And as we move forward, do it smartly with the input of the people, with an agenda at the town meetings that is full and open. And, just we want the people, we want their input. We said it countless times out there that it's their agenda, it's not our agenda. And that's definitely the plan for the next 4 years.
Right on. And you spoke to that just a moment ago, openness with the community. Can you talk about this? And this is one of your points that you ran with as well, was clarity. Clarity with the community of Swansboro. Can you kind of talk to me a little bit about what that's going to look like?
Absolutely. Clarity and transparency. I mean, and as transparent as we can be. I mean, I understand in closed session there's certain things that can be discussed and cannot be discussed, and I look forward to learning those rules. But to the maximum extent possible, letting our citizens know what we're doing in this town, what we're doing with their tax dollars, letting them know what we're doing with their services, let them know what we're doing with development and so forth. And again, as Tim and I said throughout this, controlled development that doesn't negatively impact the very real growth pressures that we have in our town, and renewing relationships with the county commissioners and above that. Paul Buchanan spent a lot of time with us today, and we really appreciate that, and we look forward to working with him, as well as John Davis, who lives here in Swansboro. We want to ensure that they understand what's going on in Swansboro, and we understand what's going on at the county and where they can help us.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Herbert. Great words here. Congratulations again. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Conway, you were the incumbent coming into this election here. It's been a bit of a journey. You've also been working as a commissioner while this whole election process has been going on. Pretty decent turnout here today, even though it was an off-season or out-of-season election. Very cold. You guys stood out there all day, hoping that people would come and vote, put their confidence in you. Can you just kind of speak to me about this journey that you've been on during this time?
Well, one of the things I learned is being the incumbent is a lot of times you don't want to burn a bridge, right? Because you might end up you really don't know who you're going to work with, right? So the other incumbents, I have a proven track record with them working. And with Tim and Wayne, I met them early in the process. And actually I helped put Tim on the planning board. Pat Turner nominated him and I seconded the nomination. So I knew some about Tim. And then Wayne, like I said, Wayne I met through the beginning of the process. And we just kind of were in sync with the same ideas. And like for me, like I said, I have a proven track record. It's public, and so that's very easy for me because I could go back on minutes and say, look, here's what I helped get accomplished. Because it's never just one. Because you have to have votes to get everything passed. And I think the people saw that I meant what I said. And as a matter of fact, one of the things I did during the campaign was I brought out my old door hanger when I got elected. And I would hand it to them and say, read the back. They'd read it. I said, I accomplished everything on there. So I do what I say I'm going to do.
Right.
Regardless of how I may feel about it, if that's what the right thing is supposed to be, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's what helped me a lot. People found out that, and like I said, I could prove it. And that was pretty easy.
Yeah. Moving forward, what's the play here? Moving into the end of the election cycle, when everybody's put in their new positions, what's that going to look like for you moving forward?
Well, we still have to. We got two members that we have to put, one on WASA board, and one on what's called JUMCO, which is traffic. And so we'll do that first night. We'll pick somebody. will pick on Mayor Pro Tem. There's a misconception out there that Mayor Pro Tem is the person who gets the most votes in the election. It's not true. At one point, I guess, in the town's history, that became like a tradition where it happened, but that tradition stopped 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago, because I know the election before I did in 21, PJ Puglisi got the most votes, but he wasn't appointed as Mayor Pro Tem. When I won in 21, I got the most votes, and I wasn't appointed Mayor Pro Tem. So that's a misconception, but it's consensus by all of us. And yeah, we'll talk about it before, ahead of time. Actually, probably start tomorrow, because I know one of the things as Mayor Pro Tem, me, I tried to get the other commissioners to agree. I would prefer everything we do to be 5-0 vote. That shows unity in the board, and more importantly, I think when you have that, it shows confidence. So yeah, we have a lot to do. We've got a new majority coming in. Thankfully, Bill, being a mayor, being finally the elected mayor, he's very easy to work with, and so I think it'll be probably a much easier transition than we had from the last election, because there was a little pushing and shoving and bad attitudes, pretty much on everybody's part. So I think it'll be pretty easy. There is a lot to do. Hopefully, we'll get the majority of it done. The first night is just procedure and appointments, so nothing major. That'll be the following month. I don't think it's going to be a big adjustment. What happened with the last election, after about a year, it kind of all worked itself out. Everybody just started understanding everybody's differences, right? And I know, like for me, I try respecting their difference. We may vote differently on things, but in the end, when it was done, it's a new day the next day, and we got more things to tackle. There's no use fighting, so to speak, over an issue that's already been voted on instead.
Sure.
So type of thing. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think with the other board members that are current, Tamara Parati, we appointed her. I spent some time with her. She's, especially today, a lot today, and she'll be good to go. She'll be okay. Does she have some different views? Of course she does. That happens all the time. But we'll work through it, and it's the same thing with Doug Eckendorf. A lot of people think he's a brash person. Oh, you just got to know Doug's personality. I would say right from the very beginning, Doug and I had a very bad relationship. Right now, we got a very good relationship.
Right.
And it's just that he took me for who I was, and I took him for who he was. It helped that we sat beside each other on the board. We could talk in between times, and I don't think it's going to be an issue.
There you go. Well, great words, Mr. Conway. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.